Is Bibi getting desperate to capture all of Gaza, even as the US pushes a peace deal that still leaves the battlefield far from settled? Is Bibi's minister now irritating Hamas even further amid the disarmament row, making the ceasefire talks even harder to rescue? Is Trump pushing a ceasefire while Israel chooses confrontation instead, exposing a widening gap between diplomacy and battlefield reality? Is Trump's peace bid now facing a sharp reality check from his own ally, as Israel keeps pressing ahead on the ground? As Hamas refused to disarm, did Israel signal that it will not retreat at all, despite the latest US-backed ceasefire push? On August 2nd, Israeli Minister Eli Cohen called for full control of the Gaza Strip, hardening Israel's position during the talks. Cohen said Israel already controls about 70% of Gaza, according to SCMP, suggesting the military push is already far advanced. The minister also said there was still no agreement to halt military operations, keeping the ceasefire effort in limbo. Cohen said he did not expect Hamas to disarm and accused the group of hiding weapons, underscoring how deep the distrust remains. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes continued across Gaza for a second consecutive day on August 2nd, even as mediators tried to keep talks alive. Palestinian health officials said at least 9 people were killed in the latest strikes, adding fresh urgency to the ceasefire debate. SCMP reported that strikes hit Gaza City, Deir al-Balah, Khan Younis and areas near Jabalia, widening the geographic reach of the assault. The IDF said some of the strikes targeted Hamas Nukba commanders and other operatives, framing the attacks as precision military action. These developments came just days after Trump claimed a breakthrough in Gaza ceasefire efforts, making the gap between announcement and reality look much wider. US President Donald Trump announced what he described as a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and armed factions operating in Gaza. Trump said the agreement also includes the complete disarmament of all other armed groups currently operating inside the Gaza Strip. According to Trump, the agreement was reached with Hamas, the Board of Peace, and international mediators after extensive negotiations. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "Today, the Board of Peace reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. This is a monumental step toward lasting peace and security. This agreement is a critical step towards Gaza finally being governed by a new Palestinian government that will work closely with the Board of Peace to help the Palestinian people. At the same time, Israel will have the security it deserves, with Gaza no longer used as a base for terror attacks. This is a major milestone in the implementation of the Trump 20-point plan. The agreement will be carried out in carefully structured phases. As disarmament is completed, Israeli forces will withdraw and the International Stabilization Force will work with a new Palestinian police force to take responsibility for Gaza being safe for its residents and its neighbors. 1 year ago there was a violent raging war, humanitarian crisis, and hostages kept in brutal captivity. We have made historic progress and there is still much work to do. I want to thank the mediators, Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, for their important efforts and especially my outstanding team, whose tireless work made this historic breakthrough possible. The threat that emerged from Gaza on October 7th will not be allowed to rebuild. Under this agreement, Gaza will finally be in the hands of a new Palestinian government that serves its people. Congratulations to all on this amazing development, that everybody said could never be achieved." Unquote. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has cast fresh doubt over the proposed agreement despite Trump's optimistic announcement. Netanyahu's office said the proposal still falls short of Israel's long-standing demand for the complete demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli statement has raised fresh questions over whether the proposed agreement can actually move forward in its current form. Interestingly, a report by Axios claimed Iran's IRGC urged Hamas not to rush into accepting any disarmament agreement during the negotiations. The Axios report further claimed Iran advised Hamas to play for time while discussions continued during recent meetings held in Tehran. But the biggest twist came just hours after Trump announced the so-called complete disarmament agreement with Hamas. Hamas responded by saying it will not begin any disarmament process before Israeli forces completely withdraw from the Gaza Strip. Senior Hamas official Ghazi Hamad said any disarmament process is directly linked to Israel's withdrawal and the reconstruction of Gaza. Hamad also insisted that Israel would have absolutely no role in overseeing or participating in any future disarmament process. The senior Hamas leader added that a Palestinian National Committee would instead supervise all future security arrangements related to any disarmament plan. Hamas reportedly formed a special committee to recover weapons lost during the Gaza war, according to i24 News. The committee was tasked with locating missing Hamas weapons believed to be held by armed factions, clans, and private individuals. i24 News reported that some of the missing weapons were buried beneath rubble while others had been captured by the Israeli military. The report said the committee's original commander was killed in an Israeli airstrike earlier in July. A new Hamas commander reportedly assumed responsibility for continuing the mission to recover and reorganize the group's remaining arsenal. Sources told i24 News that several armed factions acknowledged possessing weapons belonging to Hamas al-Qassam brigades. Hamas also reportedly began buying back weapons from families, local clans, and private arms dealers to replenish its stockpiles. The effort was aimed at consolidating Hamas' remaining military inventory after months of losses during the Gaza conflict, the report said. i24 News also reported that Hamas established another committee to transfer government employees into the al-Qassam brigades. The reported personnel transfers were intended to fill vacancies created by Israel's targeted killings of Hamas operatives. The report said transferred personnel would leave their government positions and begin receiving salaries through the al-Qassam brigades.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.